Hey folks, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing game supplements, I illustrate them, and then I publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition for the past few years, and there's a slew of books I've placed on DMsGuild.com that you can check out descriptions of and free previews for them linked down below. If you think any of that stuff's cool, consider making a purchase. The book that we're creating right now is the Spelljammer Combat Exploration, which provides additional mechanics and rules for running Spelljammer games using 5th edition rules to add to and flesh out the rules that were provided by Wizards of the Coast in the Spelljammer Adventures in Space box set. So one of the questions that's been cropping up a lot is how to convert these illustrations into functioning maps that you can use at your table. So we have a number of tools that we've developed here to help describe that, and this is a two-dimensional representation of the illustration that they provided for us. We break it down into a square grid map. You can use hexes if you want to. I just chose to use squares because of the way that combat and exploration is described in this book. It makes more sense that way. We're going to talk about that. So, but for now, we can look at, here's the different planets that we have here, and here you can see 100, 200, 300,000, and then 400 million miles to the border of the system, to the edge of the Azraxis space system. Here's the central star, the different planets, and then here we have each square is 100 million miles. So it's 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. Interesting disparage here is that even though this is an orbit of 1 to 300 million miles, if you're in this position here, it only takes 2 squares to reach there. A lot of orbits in actual space aren't perfectly round. This is a representation of the map. That difference in width of orbits can be described as at certain times in the planet's orbit, it's going to be closer to the sun than others. So if you want to be able to hand wave that difference to be able to have the ease of using a square map, that's how you can suspend disbelief by, well, orbits aren't perfectly round. They're just perfectly round on this map for convenience sake. So having talked that off, we can see here that these are the distances. And if a ship can travel between worlds 100 million miles per day, as described in the Adventures in Space supplements, then to move from one square to another, it's going to take 1 day. But it obviously doesn't, it takes, like, for example, Earth and, say, Toril are 200 million miles away from the sun. And we know that Earth being 200 million miles away from the sun, it takes a year for us to go around in orbit. A year is 12 months. So here, let's take a look at a map here real quick. Here's a planetary system map, Toril, or say Earth. And as you can see here, it's at this distance. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It takes 12 months to move around in a complete year orbit, which means that a planet can move 100 million miles every 30 days. So as long as your campaign takes less than 30 days, then you can keep the planets in the same position. So what we've done is go to our Patreon here. There's a link down below to our Patreon. You don't have to be a member to access it. But if you jump over here, a recent article we created, Spelljammer Wildspace Systems Mapping Tool Roll20. We created basically a public game that you can make use of. So if you want to open this up, if you don't have an account, you can create one for free. And you can launch the game, and you will join the game as a player. I'm just going to close this because we already have a window open over here already. And hey, look, it's a system map. So let's take a look at here. Look, it's a system map. Same, right? Same. Perfect. Okay, great. So each of these squares is 100 million miles, right? So, and we have here, we show that Azraxis space, let's see here, Zarandar and Imperial Citadel, that's their relative position as depicted in the illustration, which we've translated to be these positions here as your starting positions during the adventure. So you could either, what you could do is if you have Roll20, you could duplicate these tools. All these assets will be PNG transparency files that will have in a zip folder for anyone that goes to Roll20 And if you decide to purchase this document, it should be out in January for folks to use. But you could technically recreate this by making square grids in Excel or Google Tables. If you made the tables square shape, you could then use the tools to create a circle, and then you could create dots or just letters, and then every 30 days, you can move the planet and everything that's orbiting like a planet. You can move them 1 square every 30 days. So if your team is having an adventure in Xeraxis space after 30 days, you could then move, this one is, where's this one supposed to be? Hold on. Let's go here real quick. Yeah, there we go. And this is actually supposed to be here. Is that right? Looks good. Yeah, looks good. Okay, great. So let's say you're in Xeraxis for 30 days. So we can move that one. We can move that 1 square. We can move this 1 square and this 1 square. And F represents the edge of Wildspace. So if your ship, as you travel around Xeraxis space, you can leave these planets in this new position for the next 30 days. If you are building a system and you want to incorporate your own design, your own system, then like say you only have like for example, if you wanted to if you wanted to decide that planets move faster than 1 square every 30 days, then you can just track it that way, and you can track the movement of each individual planet moving at their own speed. But if you just want to make it easy on yourself, you can just default at the 100 million miles per square. But if like you had a bigger system, like Tyrill's like 3.2 billion miles in diameter, and from the star to the furthest planet is 1.6 million miles, you could represent each of these squares as 400 million miles, and then each square would only each of these planets at this 400 million miles square would only move 1 square every 4 months instead of every month. So you can scale it out that way as you need. If you wanted to play with the math, you could break down the math differently for yourself to calculate your own ways. But honestly, the easiest way to do it, to keep it simple for yourself, is have 100 million miles per square, use this inner orbit system, and you can, again, just move planets once every 30 days. So that's real easy. If we're talking about moons, moons are a little different because, like say, Saloon is 183,000 miles away from Tyrell. So if we wanted to represent and Saloon has a 30-day orbit, right? Kind of like the moon. So if you have, if you wanted to have a 30-day orbit here 4 squares away from Tyrell, you can have it break down to have 30 squares of movement. And so that means that each square is going to be 50,000 miles, right? So how long does it take to you, for you in a spelljamming ship to travel from Tyrell to Saloon? Well, we have, let's see, we're going to use, here's one of the distance scaling. We have 2 types of helms. I won't bore you with the details about the fighter craft and the Gundam speeds that fighter craft can move, but we'll just go with the major helm, which is the speed that's presented in Adventures in Space. 100 million miles per day. These are rough approximations to make it easy for you to process the math. 100 million miles per day is roughly 5 million miles per hour, or 10 million miles every 2 hours, which is about 1 million miles every 10 minutes, which is about 100,000 miles every minute. So if you're going to fly from Tyrell let's get to that right page again here for you. Bloop. If you're going to fly from Tyrell to Saloon, once you're out of the atmosphere of the planet, it'll take you roughly 2 minutes to fly from Tyrell to Saloon. So it moves really fast. There's a lot of physics and ways to make things simple in this book. It'll be published in January. You can check it out then. But these are just some quick, easy tools that people can have free access to. If you wanted to design your own system, you have the freedom to come down here to one of these other maps, and you can just provide a label for your team and arrange these planets wherever you want them to be on the map that you think is appropriate for the system that you design for yourself. And then you can provide, your own little table here of, A, B, C, D, E, F here for you to be able to plot your planetary positions. And then you could take a snipping tool here and just grab a screenshot of what you built here in the Roll20, copy that, and then you could provide this as a document at the table for your team to have their own custom look-see. Here's the position A, B, C, D, E, F for the inner planets, say for Tyrell, and here's where they're currently positioned. And looking at the map here, you can see, well, if I want to get from, say, Tyrell D and I wanted to Collier C, Tyrell is currently here at D, and what's the name of that one? Collier C. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 squares away. It would take you 4 days to travel from Tyrell to Collier in this current configuration. And then 30 days from now, if you're still in the system, you could just move all the planets 1 square and you've updated your system map, and there's no real headaches. Again, if you want to calculate separate speeds of orbit for each planet so they're moving at their own separate speeds, you can have a calendar that shows how many days you're going to move each planet, how many squares. You can do that if you want, but if you want to keep it really simple for yourself, just assume all planets can move 100 million miles in 30 days and that the scale of map is going to be 100 million miles so that you can easily just move everything 1 square like that. So these are just some easy, simple tools to make life easier for you, to be able to run games and have maps and have characters explore worlds and run into encounters like every, and you're in the system map, like maybe every square that you move, there's like a 1 in 4 chance you're going to have a random encounter. And you can have a different random encounter table for each planet depending on what kind of a planet it is. Like if you're within 1 square of a specific planet, you'll use that planet encounter table. Otherwise, you can use like the inner planet system encounter map, and you can have an outer planet encounter map. And then of course you escape into the astral space, and then you can have your astral encounter table differently. But each day, or maybe twice a day, you can scale that whatever you feel is appropriate for your team. But these are some really simple tools. I just wanted to share these real quick and let you guys know that you can jump through my Patreon here to access this Roll20 page to check these tools out. Once this supplement publishes online for folks, if you pick it up, then the zip file is going to have 72 tokens, character, creature, ship tokens for Light of Xeraxis, all these system map tools for you to be able to build inside a virtual tabletop or to print out to use on your own table as well. And we have the Xeraxis space map, the Doom space map. We have a Tyrell realm space map, as well as combat maps for the Imperial Citadel, the Topolis Tower, and all the different pieces that you need to be able to run the Light of Xeraxis using these these mapping mechanics, as well as all the ship tokens that are in the book for you to expand on and create your own campaigns. So if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. If you want to join on Patreon and get access to more tools in the future as we do, love to have your support. Check out the Roll20 tool. We'll keep that Roll20 page open as long as people are respectful of the space. And be welcome to check out the books that I have linked down below if you want to check out some of my ideas. And thanks a lot. Let me know what you think. Love to hear from you. Yeah, we all have a great day. Thanks a lot.